Life in '07. Small songs and demos flying around, and we really didn't know how to go about kind of organizing it all. And something just clicked. We recruited Michael Guy Chislett. How I met Michael. Michael was living with Butch Walker for a period of time.
When the opportunity came for me to play on the album, it was like, you know, I guess like basically when Academies were like, well, yeah, we're doing the album with Butch. I was just like, wow, this is kind of weird because, you know, me and Butch couldn't be closer. So I think like creatively it's cool because me and Butch Walker don't really have to talk about what we're doing. We can just kind of do it. And because like we've played on stage for, you know, the last 2 years, it's a cool thing because I guess like he trusts me. Like if I kind of get a hunch on something and I'm like, I could really make this bridge part do something.
I guess it was 2.5 days that we spent at Butch Walker's house, and we just, you know, we talked about guitars, we talked about music. He came to Chicago, a windy October day.
So they, you know, and it was a crazy thing, right? But like I was there, and it was actually snowing at the time, and I was wearing like a not so great jacket. This is before Mike's dad gave me a jacket, and like I guess like I'd been smiling so much that my cheeks were like kind of starting to freeze up. Like I remember just going, wow. Everyone from Illinois gets a jacket.
No, because
Butch is from Milwaukee.
It's the same thing.
What do you want?
Well, is it a different state?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is it? What state's that?
Wisconsin. Green Bay.
It's all the same. Mike Carden. Gee, this is a hard one.
I'll grab onto the Australian tree back there. Maybe I go back to Australia.
Everyone's a comedian. What I have to deal with here? This is not easy.
I'm trying to help you, man. That was a very important thing that we talked about on the van ride over here.
An Australian tea tree.
Seriously, you'll be surprised when you, Mr. Cameraman, when you start hanging out with Mike more. It's a whole another world.
But you opened the door, and I was just like, "Who's this guy?" And I didn't even know you were Australian most of the time. Michael got Chislett, and I met him, I guess, a little over a year ago.
Me and Butcher have this weird thing. Like we've never really gotten along. We kind of do it, you know. Like we're kind of friends, but we're not really. Like off camera. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So what am I doing? Sing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. The crazy thing with Butcher is he's just got such a weird charisma about him. Is he would he'd basically make like this really, really cool drum part. It's definitely not the sort of thing that most people play. And I think that's a really cool thing. You know, I guess most demos are usually unlistenable, but his were actually like, you know, it was like definitely a hard thing to beat.
The drummer side of me wants to play a fill every 5 seconds and like wants to do some kind of beat that nobody's gonna understand that I probably wouldn't even be able to pull off anyway. There were songs though that the drum part came first time out of nowhere. He's gonna play something like this, and I just went like this, and the beat just came right out, and that was where it stayed. I would spend 4 or 5 hours a day, just going through the songs over and over and over. We recorded these rough demos of them, and I would just play what I thought would stick, and it pretty much did. It was good to have Mike there too to kind of push me. It's like working out, sort of like you need somebody to spot you and motivate you. What I didn't find, what I didn't pick on my own, Mike or Michael or Siski or Bill were there to tell me, like, try something different.
Everyone so far has given me positive feedback, which makes me happy because you get so in your head and you start thinking about so many things about the record that after a point you don't even know where you stand anymore. You get to a point where you don't want to stop making the record. You know, before it was kind of like, well, you know, it's this week or this tour or this next. I mean, I guess it just, you know, it hits me right, and it, I think it shows.
It's this like intangible feeling of cohesive rock. You can hear it in the guitars, you can hear it in the vibe. And that's one thing about this record is I feel like you can feel that in everybody. You can feel all 5 members when you listen to it.
We've become like best friends, you know. Like I feel like we're as a band, we're all best friends. I don't know. I feel like I have another family, you know, a home away from home, and that's one of the best feelings I could ever have. It was funny because we had met Michael a little over a year ago. We were shooting the video, and holy shit. What's up, Mike?
I was just like, yeah. I mean, I think that's what Antti Siska does. He cracks you up, and he keeps. He's kind of that one. He's that glue point in the band right now that keeps everything kind of sane. Because you know, sometimes we'll get too dark into one place or another place, and he'll always keep us and always have something, you know. I mean, just sometimes just looking at him, having him in the studio, or just talking on the phone, you just look over at him and go, all right, well, this guy's on, and he's always having a good time. So it's a good vibe with Adam.
Bring our own stuff. Is it cheaper to freight it? Alfredo? I mean, you're gonna know what you're getting. You would imagine Alfredo freight. Happy birthday.
Siski is 19 years old. I met him when he was much younger. I think he was like 13 when I met him. And I've seen him grow up. You know, I've seen the kid grow up, and he's like a little brother to me. And can't wait for his 21st birthday. That's for sure.
Thank you guys for sharing my birthday with me. Rumbling. I felt like I was pregnant and a baby just kicked in my stomach.
When I was little, probably 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, my mom forgot to pay for like my little milk thing that we get, like the crates. And none of the lunch moms checked, but this one checked, and I got in big trouble for stealing milk. So I always think about that when I have these little milks. I think I have cavities too. A friend of mine, 26 years old, never had a cavity in her life. Went to the dentist, 6 cavities.
What would happen with early dreams? It's
Alright.
like maybe my last one, like.
Good. What did you just say to me? Good. Cheers.
What?
wrote the record in Chicago and recorded it in LA, and now we're back in Chicago to rehearse it in the same warehouse that we wrote it. At that time, I was very blocked at that time. So it took all that touring and all the animosity within the band itself to sort of make me realize what was most important. And it really didn't, like, what was most important didn't really surface until we got back into Chicago and back into this old abandoned cheese factory to write the record. Your symbol? It's distorting, like, normally. Is the gain too high, you think?
Could be. Bring the gain down.
Just gets me thinking about how much I love this little place and how much our lives have changed in the past few months, starting at this warehouse, coming in August after Warped Tour, and getting started writing the record, you know, and it's a good place to be.
He reckons that if you do it that way, he's like, you can buy like a 4-channel Mackie one that's like